kill site. Lots of useful tech still here. But it looks like a rival faction has turned up and they're not in a sharing mood. This time we need to do more than defeat the fighters. We need to take down the carrier. Capture the relays to bring down the carrier shields. Then take out the ship's core. Fighter wing away. Good hunting.
Roger. Hostile eliminated. Shields are down. Repeat, shields are down.
Natal's carrier defenses will tear you apart. Keep your distance.
Take out those turrets.
Bearing 278. Defensive formation. Look at your target. Cover me. I'm taking heavy fire.
We lost one. Fall up on me.
It's now or never. Attack the core and finish this thing.
Turrets are down. You're all clear. We're going in. Direct hit on the reactor.
The carrier is destroyed. Wipe out the fighters.
Good afternoon, Fanfest. So that's carrier assault. Cool. And I'm here to talk to you and give you a bit more information about what carrier assault is. My name's Andrew Willens. I'm the lead game designer on EVE Valkyrie. And this is my first Fanfest. So I'm 50% nervous, 50% extremely excited. And thank you to everyone that stopped me in the corridor and had a conversation with me or given me a novelty gift, which was an experience, but thank you. So yeah, before I get into the carrier assault part, I'd like to actually talk a little bit about Valkyrie and the goals that we had for the launch of Valkyrie. So our goals were to put you in the cockpit, basically to deliver the most visceral dogfighting experience, and also to provide a sense of wow, a sense of VR presence that's just not achievable on a 2D interface. And I'm happy to say that we achieved that at launch. Some of the comments that we had, some of my favorites here, the VR's Halo, my personal favorite, obviously Top Gun in space, and also comments such as, you know, this is the game that VR headsets were designed for, which is fantastic, and it makes us feel really cool, and we're really happy about that. But this is just stage one on the journey of Valkyrie, and Valkyrie is an evolving game. So it was a giant step into a new and exciting frontier of games, but it was just a first step. So now the mission changes slightly. We have the game out, and it's now how we support that game and build the community. And so this is what we're looking at now. Carrier Assault is just one part of the new game modes that we're looking to add to Valkyrie. Game modes which will add greater tactical depth. They're going to add an extra strategic element, and also new mechanics and ingredients which are going to provide more tactical choice and depth to the combat. We're also going to be looking to do more ships and ship upgrades, because as we have the ships out there now, we have our 3 kind of base ships, and we understand a little bit more about the interplay of those different ships during combat. So it gives us a chance to kind of get feedback on them and develop the mechanics which we'll then put on the new ship upgrades. And we're also looking to increase the base class system with another one. So we'll have a 4th class, and that's something we're experimenting with now. So we are going to have a brand new ship class. Can't say what it is this year, coming soon. But this will be another exotic mechanic, but it will be something that is basically being driven by the community and what they want. And that's a big part of our roadmap with Valkyrie, is the community-driven content. So the players are having a huge voice in how we shape the content which we're making and when we deliver it. I'll chat more about that a little bit later on, because we've got a round table which signpost to that later on. But basically, Carrier Assault is the next step in that progression to get more game modes out there. So before we go into carrier assault, I'd like to chat a little bit about the background kind of rules of war, the rules of engagement for Valkyrie. So in Valkyrie, you are a clone. You are not special, you are not a beautiful and unique snowflake, but you're a clean slate, and you have the ability to become a legendary pilot. Because you're a Valkyrie, you're effectively an immortal. You know, you're capable of rebirthing. When you die, you rebirth. You go out and you fight another day. So all of that knowledge which you pick up, wins or losses, is stored in your clone data. When you rebirth, you learn and you move on. And that means you can become legendary. Is Quantum Delta in? I'm sure he is. He's probably thinking, I've already qualified for that legendary title. Yeah, you have. Killed me far too many times. So in Valkyrie, clones are a resource. They're a valuable resource because they're a finite resource. So when you spawn into a match, your carrier will only have a specific number of clones within the clone vat for your team. If you deplete the enemy's clones, then it's game over. So this is pretty much the core of Team Deathmatch. So this is full-on dogfighting in its purest form. The goal with Team Deathmatch is just simply to deplete the enemy clone vat until it's just dry. You know, you've killed all of the enemy, you win the battle. Or if the battle timer expires, then you win on points because you've basically killed more clones than the opponent team. So this is where we'll see skilled pilots kind of showing off, doing some kick-ass aerial maneuvers, and basically fighting, dogfighting with deadly effect. Got to name drop 1.5 as well. 1.5 kills me a lot. So I get killed a lot, and you think we'd be better. We made the game, but we get owned. Anyway, I'm not bitter, but I'm going to go on about it. So Team Deathmatch, this is exactly assaulted. So moving on from Team Deathmatch, we have Control, and Control is an objective-based game mode. So you obviously have dogfighting, you're fighting over these capture points, these control points, but it's an objective. And the idea is that you get within range of these satellite drones, these power relay stations, and you deploy the drones to do the capturing for you. Because it wouldn't be much fun if you had to sit and camp an objective in VR. Our game moves at lightning speed. So the drone does the camping for you. You deploy your drone within range of the relay station, and it basically hacks it. And when you get enough drones on there, you'll gain control of that relay station, and it'll have a wonderful effect. It'll start to drain the clone vat in the opponent team's carrier, which is cool, because as we said before with Team Deathmatch, less clones is a good thing for the winning team. So we've got the two different game players. We're building to something here. Stick with me. So within Team Deathmatch, kill the enemy. That's cool. With Control, kill the enemy and capture the drones, and capture the relay power stations. So the natural escalation for this is carrier assault. Did everyone enjoy the trailer? So it's all gameplay as well. That was us playing the game. More on that later. So this is a natural escalation from the events of Team Deathmatch and from Control, and it builds on those mechanics. So the goal with carrier assault is basically, again, to deplete the enemy's clone resources, but in a far more dramatic and definitive way. It's to destroy the carrier itself, as we show so beautifully in the trailer. Because there's no clone vat, there's no clones, there's no ability to respawn, it's game over, basically. And to do this, players will need to use the skills and the experience that they've built up in Team Deathmatch and in Control. In Team Deathmatch and Control, the carriers have effectively been a no-fly zone. So if you get within range of the carrier defenses, they're going to shred you to bits. They've got automated turrets, which will just cut you down really quick. Obviously, you get a window of opportunity to get out of there, and we give you a warning, but if you keep going towards the carrier, you'll get shredded. And they also have an outer shield, basically to protect them from you getting too up close and personal with their onboard defense systems. So the first thing that we need to do in carrier assault mode is basically get those shields offline. And this is where Control comes in. So the objective for this first part is what we're kind of calling the skirmish, basically. This is the skirmish phase of carrier assault. And the teams are going to fight to gain dominance over the Control objectives so that they can hack into the relay stations and begin to draw the power from the enemy carrier. Within Control, we're drawing power straight from the clone vat, but within carrier assault, we're actually drawing power straight from the carrier's kind of shield defenses. And that can bring down the shields. So once you get the shields down, you can begin to launch an attack. And this is basically what we call the attack phase. So we move from a skirmish phase to an attack phase. And this is the time when it's ready to get up close and personal with the carrier. So all over the carrier, you'll see these UI elements that are highlighted, and these are cooling nodes. And the cooling nodes are basically an integral part of the carrier's defensive system. So the first job is basically to destroy all of the cooling nodes and hopefully take down a few mounted turrets, basically, in the process. So the shields will come down. You'll have this window of opportunity to get in there and be as effective as possible, getting as many objectives as possible, while also fighting off the enemies which are coming to attack and the carrier defenses themselves. So once you actually get the shields down and you basically take out the nodes, that will lower the shields completely and expose the core. And when the core's exposed, that's in the center of the carrier. And so we move to what we're calling the breach phase. Now, the actual carrier, when you get inside it, try and use this laser pointer. So that's the front. If you approach from the front, you'll find the heaviest kind of layer of defenses. So lots and lots of automated machine gun turrets. So you're a madman if you go in through that entrance. It's doable, but you're a madman. You could try over the trench here, but again, there will be heavy defenses, there'll be machine guns, there's the automated turrets, and also the opponent team are now in full-on defense mode, so they're spawning and coming straight back on top of you, wave upon wave of fighters. But there's a pretty cool access tunnel, which you'll have seen in the video, and that's in the back of the ship, and that leads straight to the core. Now, the difference there is there's fewer turrets to avoid, but it's quite a tight kind of navigation to get through the trench, effectively. But the thing is, once you get in there, once you get the cooling nodes destroyed and you get the ability to get into the trench, it makes for a pretty exciting finale to the mission. So it's a tight, fast burn to the core of the ship, and then to attack it. There's some influences here. You know, you might be able to spot a slight influence from a certain 70s sci-fi classic moment. I wouldn't want to name them, but you know, we want some of that. So when the core is in range, it's time to unload those Gatling cannons like Arnie on a Predator. Just give it all you can. Drill the shit out of it, and it's lights out for the carrier, basically. The core's going to go critical, and you've got a few seconds to get the hell out of Dodge. Big bada boom. Needless to say, this ends in a pretty definitive kind of victory for one team, and obviously a long, long journey back to the nearest clone vat for the defeated team. Boo. But this is just one side of the story. So I've talked you kind of through the skirmish, then the attack, then the breach phase, and that's just one side of the story. But there's two sides to every story, and that's the gameplay itself. So it kind of ebbs back and forward. Because the shields are down for a limited window of time, you have this window of opportunity to get in and be effective as possible. When the shields come back online, you're going back to the skirmish mode. So you're again fighting over the objectives. So you never have to lose hope. And we're kind of balancing this at the minute, so luckily for us, you know, we've got 30 people in the studio in Newcastle, screaming and shouting and hooping and hollering, and we're basically stress testing it and balancing it. And the matches are never really one-sided things. You know, there's an ebb and flow, attack, defend, and even when we've had a carrier that's, you know, on its last legs and it's almost to the trench run state, there's always a chance to turn the battle around. And this is a cool story. New feature alert. Woo! Someone better be making this. This is a speed boost gate, totally new to Valkyrie. And one of the other things that happened when we were kind of playtesting Carrier Assault internally is that a common complaint was that it felt quite long to get places, particularly when the shields are down and you need to launch an attack. You want to be there as quickly as possible. And so we solved this basically by putting in these small kind of boost gates. And you just simply fly through the gate, use this wonderful pointer again, vroomf, and then you get a small but significant boost to your velocity. And that means that you can get across the map super fast to get in and attack. So you're never waiting around. And the effect is, I suppose it's quite like if anyone's ever used the heavy The micro warp drive on the Heavy, it's a similar effect to that. It's just a... That's a technical term. Okay. We've seen some cool techniques. We've seen people using the boost gates to kind of fly over the relay stations and then drop a drone as they go burning past. Just literally dropping it out the window. See you later, suckers! But they're good fun. And they're a cool game ingredient that was born out of necessity. So it was born from the desire to kind of increase and enhance the fun and, increase the fun of the experience overall. And that's kind of indicative of the journey that we're on with Valkyrie right now. The boost gates were an unplanned mechanic, and it was basically something that was created to meet the needs of the gameplay as it evolves. So we have an ever-evolving game, and you'll hear a lot of people banging on this Trello board. I urge people to go on the Trello board and tell us what you think of Valkyrie, tell us what you want to see, because the community is vital to our success. And right now, they're helping us to shape the future of Valkyrie. What the players want is what we're looking to develop first and foremost. So through player monitoring data, because yes, we are spying on everyone who's playing, we're watching closely, and by voting on features, that's going to help us decide on what we develop next. And we're on another journey together, and that's actually the journey of VR. Just in general, it's a new journey, a very exciting journey to be involved in right now. And we think we have a good understanding of the best practices and the rules for the medium. But these boundaries which we know of today are going to get pushed significantly and in a very, very short space of time. We tread a thin line to excite and amaze our players without overwhelming them. And you can see that in the speed and the velocity of the experience, but all of that's going to change. If you get used to 70 mile an hour, there comes a point where you go, all right, I'm going to have to go to 100 mile an hour to get the thrill, and then I'm going to go further. And that's going to happen. It's going to happen with VR. Everything moves on. And it will change, it will evolve, it's inevitable. As players, we naturally adapt to and master control of our avatars and the worlds that we inhabit. So, the roundtable itself, I'm going to have to signpost it now because I'm drawing to the end of this short presentation, but the roundtable is going to happen Friday at 4 o'clock, which is in the Visa Ren's room. It's called Ride of the Valkyrie. I'll be there with some other members of the dev team, and we're going to kind of chat through some of the new features that we're looking to put in the game, and also discuss feedback directly with the people that are there. That's the end of my slides, but I have got some time for a bit of chat. So we've got 2 microphones set up. This could be dangerous. I'm checking the time. This could be dangerous. I'm going to open the floor to questions. I will do my best to answer whatever I can. But thank you very much for listening to my short presentation. So. If you've got questions, we've got a microphone there and a microphone there. If anyone wants to just roll up and ask anything you like, what color are Fatal's underpants, anything you fancy. And I must signpost the fact that because we're running slightly late, the next presentation will be on at past. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
With the carrier assault, there are a lot of games that do that when the carrier is destroyed, the game is won.
Yes.
But if the other team only have 1 player left and 1 clone left, there still would be a chance for the other team actually to destroy the other carrier and win.
Funny you should say that. It's
so
almost like we considered it. There is, yeah. It's a hardcore variation of carrier assault, but it's something that's just in development at the minute. But we are looking at the game rules, to see if we could have some kind of last stand scenario. So, you've taken down the opponent's carrier. They've got no clone vat, but they're still alive. They're still in the world. So there's still a possibility that they could, in theory, turn the match around by gaining control and destroying the opponent's team, which would be badass. So yes, read badass as we are not ruling that out. We are looking at it as part of the development. We just need to fix the problem of what we do with all of the dead people. But we'll just leave them in the clone vat. They can just watch something. They can watch the feed in the clone vat.
You just named yourself an achievement, badass.
Badass, that's it. Yeah, achievement's coming next month. Badass achievement. Holy shit, you're going to hold me to this. Yes. Does anyone have any more questions? As a tumbleweed rolls across the stage. Yes, another question.
Stands very high. What actually causes the shields to come down? Is it a player-based event, or is it just a random, like every 5 minutes or something, the shields will come down for 2 minutes?
It's actually what causes the shields to come down is controlling the relay power stations. So once you get enough drones on the capture point, it'll draw the power from the enemy's carrier. And what happens is it'll get to a point, you get control of the control nodes. So say there's 3 control nodes, you control A and B, and that will basically disable the carrier shields of the opponent. And that'll come down, but for a limited window of opportunity. So we're still kind of balancing it in-house. We don't know exactly what that value is, but let's just say 90 seconds. So shields come down, you have 90 seconds to get in there, knock the shit out of it, and then escape before the shields come back online, because if the shields come back online and you're trapped in the carrier,
Yeah.
boo-hoo.
And is there like an invulnerability period after the shields come down as well, to actually give the team that's lost the shields like time to regroup?
Sorry, an invulnerability.
Yeah, is there like a period of time that the shields can't be taken down again after they've come down?
Yes, by the very game mode itself, because what you'd have to do is then fly back to the drones to recapture them. So what happens is when you have control over the relay, the power relays, when the shields come down, they all kind of blow out. They become inactive, and they're inactive for the period of time that the shield's down. So what happens is, say the 90 seconds elapses, the shields come back up on the carrier, and the drones. I don't know why I'm calling them drones. the relay power stations come back online, so we then move back to the skirmish phase. So it kind of ebbs and flows between them. So there is a period of invulnerability, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Short question to the destruction of the carrier. Will there be some option of repairing the carrier or restoring some functionality?
We don't know at the minute because we're still testing it. It feels cool for the whole thing to just go large planet-sized spaceship on us and boom. But the degradation of the carrier is something we're just playing around with at the minute. You can shoot the turrets out, you can shoot the controlling nodes out, but in terms of what we actually do to the carrier itself, we're still kind of playing around with that.
Obviously, the destruction has to be somewhat maintained.
Yep.
So the game doesn't go on for infinity. But for example, the turrets can be destroyed, but are not mission objectives. So it might be possible to restore some turrets, but the coolant nodes stay destroyed, for example.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's something we'll have to consider is, could we put turrets back? Can you fix turrets in some way? So yeah, we're just playing around with the rules at the minute to make sure we get all of those little balance points in.
One suggestion for that, you have these capture drones, as you call them. Maybe one player could place one of those drones to repair one of his own turrets.
Yep.
But that would obviously limit the functionality of the drone because it's currently repairing and can't capture the power relay.
It's a good idea. You want a job?
I would love to.
How'd you find Newcastle? It's lovely this time of year.
I would love to.
That's wonderful. No, it's a great suggestion, and thank you.
Hello. In EVE Online proper, it's very common situation for two groups of players to be fighting each other, and then all of a sudden, a third party shows up and starts shooting both sides. So, in Valkyrie, have you considered designing scenarios where at first it's kind of like just a carrier or assault, and then all of a sudden, a couple of rattlesnakes show up and start shooting both sides?
Not yet. I think as our community grows and our player base grows, we might look into some dastardly underhanded double crosses at the last minute. Who knows? But not for the moment.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Cheers.
So one of the questions I actually had was, I think I also spoke to Quantum about it, but squads. So having, I guess, everybody in your team joining games at the same time and things
Yeah.
like that? Is that in progress, or is that something is a top
high,
of the list?
high
good.
on the list, and that's something we'll go into a lot more detail on at the Ride of the Valkyries roadmap.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's I think Owen chatted in the keynote this morning about the improvements which we're making. Like I said, the game is out, but there is still, it's
Absolutely.
we're on a journey. We're going to get it all solid.
It's just kind of like, I guess, the respawn rate, more or less. Is it kind of like every, I don't know, minute or something like that everybody comes on? Or
Well,
is it
funnily
30
enough,
seconds
the respawn rate is something that we've actually started tuning as part of Carrier Assault. Because again, when I was chatting about the speed boost gates, that's a cool unplanned mechanic. But what we already have in the game is the respawn counter. And in Carrier Assault, you're just like, get me the fuck out of there now. You just want to be out there. You want to be attacking or you want to be defending. And it's so we've halved the respawn time. So that's the values we're using now, and I wouldn't be surprised if that gets rolled out further, if that answers your question.
Yes.
And it made you smile, so that has made me smile now. So that must have been a good answer.
Of course.
Thank you.
Hi again.
Hey.
Another idea for your Carrier Assault would be, instead of having control nodes, so having damage old ships that you are powering up with your drones, instead of that, so the damaged ship would fire an EMP burst or something at the enemy carrier to actually take down the shields.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we're playing with now is we have these power relay stations, and we have a good fantasy behind it, but we're not ruling anything out, because it's cool to have different assets in the game and use objectives which just work slightly differently, and it would be pretty badass to see a laser getting shot
It will
out.
be mostly art part of it, but it will do a difference.
It would. It's a good suggestion. Thank you. Hey.
Hi. So Valkyrie is obviously a very PvP-focused game, with the single-player sort of tutorial campaign in there as well. For those of us who like story and PvE gaming, is there a future, any way that story can be continued on?
There is. I mean, we're not talking specifically about that part of the content at the minute. I would say again, come to the round table.
Oh, I will.
I'll chat a little bit more about what the plans are for the PvE content, because we have got stuff on the Trello board which people can vote on. I might be able to put a little bit more information on that for you tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Thanks. Cool. Any more? That's okay. That's all right.
Hello.
Hello.
Other side of the stage.
Hey.
2 microphones.
Holy shit! I'm going to have to walk the stage. Wow.
Thank you very much.
This is
so obviously you've got on your plans coming up player customizations for better personal identity.
Yes.
But I mean, we've got team play here. Are there any plans to put in future, at least, some sense of having collective identity, having much as you have corporations in EVE, even if it's as simple as saying I'm fatal aligned or.
I completely get you, and absolutely, the social kind of aspects of the game is something we're looking to increase in a big way. And what I mean is that's better peacocking, so that at the end of the match you see your badass spaceship and that ship looks like yours. Hilmar was saying, this is my heavy. There are many just like it, but this is mine. And we want it to be more like, this is my heavy. There aren't many that look like mine.
and I was meaning in terms of the persistence of
a
these are my group of friends.
A clan or a meta clan or some kind of a kind of a fleet which exists in and outside of Valkyrie. Absolutely, and we're looking to introduce all of that once we've kind of addressed the improvements that we want to get first in to do with the squad system. The chat, all of that stuff. But it's a big ticket item for me because I play regularly. I don't play Valkyrie regularly, unfortunately, because I don't have a setup at home, and none of my friends do. But every Tuesday night we have a hardcore gaming night, and I want nothing more than for my friends who join me on that to have all of those things that you've just mentioned. So yes, they are at the top of my Christmas list.
Thank you.
Cool. Any more? Raise hands at the back. That's sweet. I'm just making sure you're not going to the mic. That's all right. Sure you don't want to ask a question? What's going on? Let's have another question.
All right, so a personal question for you then. Can you tell us about your personally preferred or favorite tactic for both deathmatch and the control game modes?
Getting shot to shit by Quantum Delta and WAN 5. No, I try whenever I can to fly in a squad with Eric and Emily, CCP Starbug and CCP Groot, and they're like my shield of armor. Basically, that's my technique. I bring in the pros, and they just protect me. Not very good against the elites. Hello again.
Yeah, hello again.
You got another cool idea, haven't you?
2.
You really want this job.
If it's available, I will take it. Is there some idea of stealth and/or scouting as an element of the game?
We are exploring all possibilities right now.
And autonomous deployables, like for example turrets or repair stations?
We are exploring all possibilities right now. This is where I look at Ryan, and Ryan goes, "Fucking get him!" Right. Oh.
Just one more. You said when you are going flying through the trench, you're going to shoot at a power core. It has a certain health, right? Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
What if you don't shoot it in time? Can you go, today is a good day to die? Ram the thing.
Yes, you can, good sir. You can fly your ship right on in there, and hopefully that'll do some damage too. We're still tuning the damage percentage for the cooling nodes and for the actual core itself. So yeah, it's, the core, we want a little bit of health on there, but we want it to feel like once you're in there, if you have a perfect line and you have a good run of, say, 100 meters in virtual space, you can drill it and you can, make it go critical. But we're balancing all of that now, so I'll be really interested to see what you think when we get it out there.
Right, good. Ramming is always good.
It's good. Just when I was going to be ordering my coffee, someone else turns up. Hi.
Hi. Not strictly related to carrier assault, but can you give us, after the launch, the number of players actively playing and...
I can't, but we can possibly communicate that in a couple of weeks. And that's not anything mysterious, it's just we're waiting for numbers to come in, put it that way. There are many numbers floating around, and we can probably give you some hard stats soon.
There's nothing related to non-disclosure agreement or something?
No, nothing at all, really. It's just, we're still in the process of kind of getting all of the feedback in and looking at the volumes and the traffic, As you can imagine, the headsets are kind of coming out, and whenever a FedEx van pulls up somewhere, we can see our plane numbers go. So it's, soon, basically.
And second, about on the side and everywhere, the information probably is not really well communicated. But what about VIVE? When?
We haven't announced when.
Okay.
We have announced yes, but we haven't announced when.
I know the yes, I need the when.
Yeah, again, that when, I'm looking at Ryan, and he's pulling that again. He's actually, now he's got a sniper on me, so I'm feeling a red dot somewhere across my chest.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Just food for thought for development way down the line.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that besides the drone bay that holds these fighters that you're launching, carriers also have a ship maintenance bay that holds subcapital vessels. Just something to think about.
Okay. And on that round of applause, I will bid you farewell. Thank you very much for listening to me. Have fun. Have a great Fanfest.